What up, Chicken Nuggets? Welcome to the Sports Cards Are Dope podcast, where sports cards are dope, and so are you. Today, I want to talk to you about a collector's day that Topps is doing. I don't think they've ever done it before. First time I've ever heard of it. And so I scuttled on over to, Collectibles at SI. Mike Giuseppe, great dude. They're doing over there. And I just stole a bunch of information, and I want to give you 6 thoughts on how I think this is going to impact the hobby. So let's get into it. We're jumping in the deep end. There's probably a song. What's that song about the deep end? No, it's rolling in the deep. Man, we didn't talk enough about how terrible my singing voice is. Okay, intros much. So what's happened is sports cards have gone into from a hobby to like a loyalty program with this new incentive, this new marketing venture by Topps. And I'm just going to go and say right off the bat, I love that they're trying stuff like this. Like, if it works, it doesn't work. Like I taught in the classroom, there's sometimes you pitch a lesson and you're like, oh, I'm going to go find something online that's really fun. Like this is engaging. We're going to go outside and we're going to learn about parabolas because we're going to shoot a basketball from the free throw line. And then you get out there and you start trying to do it, make it practical, and it doesn't work. And it's just like tanks. And you're like, ugh, we'll never do this again. But you tried it. And I think that the students, the good students, respect that you just tried. And so the fact that Topps is trying something outside the box, you got to, if you don't respect that, you need to take a long look in the mirror because you might be a hater. You might be a hater, okay? It doesn't mean it has to work. It just means they're trying it. And so let me give it a breakdown. Give it a breakdown. You're not it. You're a person, place, or thing. Let me give you a breakdown of what it is. So September 20th, Topps is launching the first ever Collector Appreciation Day. And you're like, Tyler, what's a Collector Appreciation Day? Well, thank you so much for asking, weird voice guy. It is where you can take Topps cards of the home team to one of 3 MLB stadiums, and they will give you a prize pack. They'll give you something as a reward. You will get that for turning in a player's card, Topps card, of a player from that team. You're like, well, are you going to tell us what they are? Absolutely, I will. So the first one is the Washington Nationals at the New York Mets. Then you got the Chicago Cubs at the Cincinnati Reds. And then you got the New York Yankees at the Baltimore Orioles. If you go to any of those games, take a card of the Mets, the Reds, or the Orioles, whichever one you're going to, turn it in, and you will get it. I think it's like first 500 people. Topps also doing partnerships, collabs, whatever you want to call it, with Dick's Sporting Goods, GameStop, and then some MLB flagship stores. This, to my knowledge, this is the first big collector thank you that they're doing. And it doesn't have to be like a certain parallel. Oh, you got to get the bronze out of 49, the gold out of 49, or the out of 99. Like, no, just bring in a card. Those cheap base cards that you were going to trash anyways. It reminds me of that thing they did for the past couple of years, where if you have a card from that year of whoever gets the MVP, you can get like a certain amount of money back from your LCS. And so it's just another reason that some of these base cards that a lot of people just toss or throw away or give away are more valuable. And that's not one of my takeaways. That's just a little bonus. That's a little bonus right off the bat. So personally, it's like Willy Wonka. I thought it was like Willy Wonka. That's like that's like the low-hanging fruit. It's like Willy Wonka's ticket. Honestly, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. This reminds me of, if you were around in the 90s, do y'all remember when McDonald's and Monopoly collaborated? And you go and you buy like a large drink or a large fry, and you get those Monopoly boards, and you'd peel off those little stickers, and you're trying to I get really emotional talking about 90s collaborations with McDonald's and Monopoly. And what they would do is you'd go and you'd try to get all these places like Boardwalk, Park Place, Indiana Avenue, all these things, and you'd pull them off, and there were these little stickers, and you could put them on that Monopoly board, and we would just like go to McDonald's. It had to be wildly successful. My family never went to McDonald's. But we were rocking that thing multiple times a day because we were trying to get $1 million if you get the boardwalk in the Park Place. And you're like, I heard a rumor that one guy was walking by and he saw 2 of them together in the trash, and he pulled them out, and it was Boardwalk and Park Place, and he won $1 million. That's what I heard. And we couldn't like verify anything because Google didn't exist, and like AOL search was like barely even a thing. We just used it for the instant messenger, and you just couldn't verify. You just had to like word of mouth that thing. Like, did you hear that thing about Marilyn Manson? Like, we all had these like random rumors that we all just spread in the 90s. Anywho, also we had email chains. Do y'all remember that? you would have email chains. You would get an email always from your grandmother, and it's like, read the whole thing, and it has some like weird story with like weird double space, with like single space then double space, and it would be forever long email. And at the end, it's like, forward this to 10 people or you'll never meet your true love. And you're like, that's dumb. That would never be real. But then you kind of do it just in case, because you're an 8th grade boy and you're like, I want to find true love. I don't want to not find true love because I didn't forward this to 10 people. And so those are the times we lived in. Collaborations, forwarding emails, mass hysteria. And that's what led us to this conversation. That McDonald's and a Monopoly collab is very similar to me to this Topps and these pro sports collabs. And here's what's exciting to me. Topps is doing this with baseball, and baseball is not near on the level, especially even with collectors, in my opinion, of like vintage baseball, yes, but like modern stuff. I feel like basketball and football drive the market way more than baseball. So once they get their licenses here pretty soon for basketball and then, football, I think we're going to see a huge, huge spike in Fanatics, like their pushes to integrate things like this into the hobby. We're going to see, like, you talk about 10x growth. Like, honestly, I'm at the point now, the collaborations they do with other companies, these initiatives, the Fanatics Fest, the stuff where they're getting like pro athletes to start collecting and making, like, especially social media and the way they're pushing social media. I do not see any world where Topps does not 10x this hobby over the next 5 to 10 years. It is absolutely insane that this hobby is as big as it is, that of verified sales. This doesn't include shows or trade nights or individual sales or private sales or whatnot, that they could find. It was like 400 something million. Actually, it might include whatnot. It doesn't matter. Over 400 million in sales last month. Like, it's crazy to think that we're not going to hit something. I don't know when the 10x comment was made, but I could see us getting, to several, like, what was 400 million? So like 4 billion will be 10xing that. I don't see where we don't do that. Like, it's going to happen just because there's going to be so many more people that it's accessible. And then we're getting to a place now with AI and jobs and finances to where people are going to have more expendable income, in my opinion. And you're like, yes, there's a separation. But like, what about people that don't have as much? I get that. But also what you see with the increase of AI is it takes out some of the busy work of being a human. This is just Tyler just deep diving in his opinion. AI is going to take away the busy work of being a human, and that's going to give us the opportunity to dive into our bag, if you will, and find hobbies, find things that we like, find interests, dive into fantasy football, dive into playing golf in the afternoons, dive into collecting quadrilaterals of athletes. I think we're going to see more and more of that in the future. And I think, honestly, with Fanatics, Topps is owned by Fanatics, but with the way Fanatics seems to do businesses, they are not afraid to try and fail. I call it the fail bell. It's a thing we learned whenever we did this thing at Google. Google. I was there at one time doing an innovator thing for educators, and they had these bells at the middle of our tables, and we're there working on our projects. And if at any point we realized our project needed to be dropped or quit, or we need to go a different direction, essentially our project was a failure, we would ring these little bells. They were like the little bells, like ring for service, ding, ding, ding. And if you heard anyone in that room ring a bell, everybody started cheering, because the thought process with Google was, if you made a mistake, that failure, you saw it as, hey, I realize this isn't as good as it could be. I want to make it better. Let's cheer for that the humility to try to take something and make it better. And so I love that. It seems like that sounds to me, it looks to me from the outsider looking in, it looks like that's Fanatics' mindset, that they're going to try these kinds of things and learn from it and keep making the next thing better. And so I'm a fan of it. But I want to give you 6 takeaways and why I think it could be good for the hobby. And I'd love to know yours in the comments. If you're on YouTube or Spotify, throw it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. So the first one is, it rewards loyalty. Collectors get a tangible perk for being a collector, doing something they already love, for having those base cards, for having that team you collect, for driving down to your LCS and going through their box and buying a couple things, spending $5, $10, whatever. You'll probably spend more when you find other stuff, but just buying some of those cheap cards you can turn in. Now you're in an exclusive club when you walk in. And I've done this at Grizzlies games. You're walking around with something, like you've got like, they have like these MVP areas where you can get stuff, and you get like a Desmond Bain stuffy, and or like a Grizzly. I've got a Grizzlies blanket, and people are like, where'd you get that? I'm like, oh, I got it because I'm in this whatever group. It's an exclusive perk of being a collector, and so I think that's a win. That's a dub, if you will. Number 2, it bridges this like online, and a lot of times for a lot of us collectors, it's a very solitary experience unless we interact online, because you may be the only one in your house collecting or on eBay, and it's just like this like you're scrolling eBay and you're refreshing, or you're going to whatnot and you're conversing through comments, but it's not an in-person thing. They're closing that gap of an online collecting experience and an in-person connection that you're getting. So the stadiums are giving them something in a very physical way to participate, and they would go to that place. It's like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Like you have to exit the cave and join the living. Number 3, I think it drives community even more. When you have thousands of people running to a ballpark or trying to go on a certain night, it's like, oh, it's Topps best baseball night. Yeah, that's cool, but it's even cooler whenever you're looking in the stands and there's 500 people that you know are collectors just because they're walking around with something. I was at my booth at the Cotton Shed today. I was like cleaning up. I hadn't been in a few weeks, so I'm like, people just dump stuff everywhere. And so I'm trying to straighten up all the cards. And this guy walks in. He was coming through. He's from Texas. And he was looking at my stuff. He's like, hey, is this your booth? I was like, yeah, man. And we started talking. I was like, what do you collect? And he's talking to me. He collects a lot of baseball, and he's just looking through it. And we just chatted up. When I left, I just told the people at the front, I was like, hey, anything he wants, just give him 20% off of anything he picks out. Like, that's the thing. Like, we collectors, like it's like this group. It's this special club that you get to be a part of, that when you run across somebody, it's like you automatically have one question you can ask someone who also is in this hobby that'll like ignite their passion immediately, which is, what do you collect? And it's one of my favorite things to ask people at shows or anytime I run into somebody who's a collector. I'm like, who do you collect? What do you collect? And it's so cool watching people talk about the thing that most of the time their family is sick of hearing about. You know what I mean? Like they might be in a forum or making comments or on a YouTube video. Hey, what's up? And it's a safe place there. But seeing someone in person, there's an experience to that, to seeing another collector and getting to have that conversation. So number 4, I think it's a marketing experience, and I already kind of hinted at this. I think it's great that Fanatics is saying, hey, we're not just trying to sell cards. We're trying to give you that feeling of being of value in this thing you collect. Like, we are giving you a VIP experience at this in-person game because of the thing that you're into that might seem a little dorky to some of your friends. And so I think that's a really cool one. So touche there. Number 5, how do I say 6 things? So 5, it could be a proof of concept for more things like this. I think once they get the NBA licenses full on and the NFL ones, they're going to do more and more of this stuff. And I cannot imagine how they're going to integrate this with NBA and NFL, because with baseball, it's like, and again, maybe it's just me because I don't do a lot of modern baseball, but y'all correct me if I'm wrong. You baseball collectors, modern baseball collectors, hit me if I'm wrong. I'm more of like a 90s Braves kind of guy, a little Ron Gant collector. If you are into modern baseball, it seems like the big thing there is prospecting, which what you're doing is you're getting players early and then just hoping they hit. Whereas with NFL and with NBA, a lot of times it can still be higher end stuff that is not rookie year stuff. And the prospecting, I feel like the on ramp is a lot shorter. You can see some results. Basketball, you need a little more time. So it's like, if baseball, you need 2 to 5 years to kind of pop. With basketball, I think it's like 1 to 3 years. You know, within like 3 to 4 years, they know who you're going to be in the league. And with football, honestly, like you could jump in. Jaden Daniels, got to the Final Four of football, which has a name that I don't know. I think that it's really cool just watching those sports jump in and do stuff with Fanatics and the hobby. And number 6, I think it makes cards feel like passports. You're making them function like mini tickets, and you're getting like your passport stamp into an experience. So it's like the Pokemon Go for hobby people, and it's like carrying around a key to something that other people are going to be like, how did you get that? And you can be like, oh, I got the key. Watch me. Key to your heart, bro. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts initially. Thank you, Collectibles on SI. It's the first time I ever went to the website, which is great. I'm probably going there more, try to get more stories, things to talk about. But if you want me to talk about something, throw it in the comments. And if you have thoughts on this, I'd love to hear it. Let me know if I missed anything, if I was wrong, or if you got something else out of it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Sorry that my tone is weird. It's like a lot less like amped up. One, I got a comment today that was like, I like it when you're a little more chill, because I was showing a lot of my cards that were on my shelf and I was talking quiet because my kids were still asleep. Now it's late at night. I'm recording because I want to have an episode tomorrow. Trying to go for every Monday through Friday, every morning. We're trying to have a new ep. And so that's why my tone's a little down. Do you like it this way? I feel like Delilah. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank y'all for tuning in to Delilah. We're going to listen to some groovy tunes. Everybody just Oh, eighth grade Tyler, just lay down in your bed and listen to me throughout the night. It won't cause any long-term trauma or weirdness out of you. And you'll, manifest that in a podcast 30 years later. Thank you guys so much for listening. I don't know. This got weird. Y'all be good. Stay sweet. Never stop collecting. Sports cards are dope. So are you. Later.